Hey guys, it's me, that's Alyssa XO, back with another video. So today we're going to be talking about 10 mistakes I made in the dating life that you should avoid. So I'm looking at my phone because I kind of have like my little list on my phone. So if you see me looking down, it's just so I remember to hit key points. First thing is going to be trying to change your partner. You know, like how you have like the talking stage, you meet a guy and you're getting to know, or a girl, whatever. You're getting to know them. So once you start seeing those red flags, things you don't like, it's best to just kind of leave them where they're at. Don't try to like think, okay, they'll change, I should definitely like keep going with this, and stuff like that, because they're not going to change. So if you see that this person has these certain like qualities and traits that you don't like, don't go in thinking, okay, I'm going to change them, because you're not. So it's just going to be a waste of time, because then you're going to form this relationship thinking you can change them, and you're not going to be able to change them. And then it's just going to cause problems as the relationship goes on. So it's best to just leave them where they're at, because you don't want to waste your time. 2 is definitely, I think you should let your partner spoil you. I know some people are like against that. Me, I was never against that. I got spoiled, and you can get spoiled in various different ways, whether it's like financially, whether it's just like with attention, like affection, whatever your love language is, then you need to communicate that. And if they can't give you what your type of love language is, there's no point of messing with them. Like, my love language is like acts of service, quality time, and like receiving gifts. So if you're not a gift giver, I don't want anything to do with you, because I do spoil back like when I'm in a relationship, but like at first, it's like the little things. I'm not saying to go buy me a MacBook, but it's like if I say I'm going to get a pedicure, like you should be paying for it. Or if I'm like, oh yeah, I'm about to go to Dunkin', Starbucks, get me a coffee, you should be like sending a little money for that Dunkin' or Starbucks. I'm not saying all the time you need to do that, but it's like little things like that is something that I look for. Not that I look for, but it's like I like that. So it's like I would definitely go towards somebody like that than somebody who's not doing that. So if you know that this person is not like matching the type of love language you like, don't waste your time with that, because it's just like that's your love language. And there's some people who are against that. They're like, I don't want this person buying me anything. Cool. So if that person you're with doesn't buy you stuff, then that's good for you, but that's not good for me. So therefore, avoid people who are not matching your love language. Like, if you know you like to get spoiled and this guy's talking about oh yeah, I don't spend money on females, like I'm not their parent, then don't go for that guy, because he's not going to be spending his money on you. But also, don't expect somebody to spend money on you their first week of meeting you. Like, you kind of have to like wait it out and kind of see like if they offer, or just by the type of dates they take you on, you could kind of see what they do for work, because they might not financially be able to afford it if that's what you want, receiving gifts and all this stuff. If they're, depending on their type of work and whatever they have going on, they might not be able to afford it. And if that's something that you really need, then don't go wasting that person's time when you know what it is. So definitely I say like pay attention to like communicate your love language and see what their love language is. See if you can give them what they want, and if they can give you what you want. And if they cannot, then goodbye. I know like people are going to probably say something about this, but I feel as though for it to really work, the guy has to love the girl more. And obviously I'm saying like as you're in a relationship. The reason I say that the guy needs to love the girl more is because I just feel that way. I feel as though my relationships worked better when they had more feelings for me. They were more so in love with me than I was with them. Yes, I loved them, but it was like they were more like over me. But I feel like when a guy doesn't really want you, he doesn't really love you, then it's just like all you loving them. You're going to try so hard to perfect this relationship, and they might not really care or want anything to do with it. So I feel, my personal opinion, in order for the relationship to work, The guy has to love you more than you love them. But also, you still need to be in love with them, but they have to just love you more. And obviously, it's not going to work if they love you, you don't love them. But I'm saying, at the end of it, he needs to love you more than you love him. That's all I'm saying. I highly suggest and don't suggest moving in with somebody. So, you see somebody's true colors when you move in with them. So, I think you should do like a trial, like go on a vacation for a week. Basically, you're with each other 24/7 on the vacation. So, you'll see how they act on this vacation before you decide to go move in with them. Because you see somebody's true colors. Even when you go on vacation with somebody, whether you're just going with like your friends, you see how they really live based off of how you're on vacation with them. And some people, you know, like they say like on TikTok, like when the girl groups go to Miami, they come back not friends and stuff like that. It's because like you don't really know somebody until you kind of live with them or like travel with them, because then you kind of get that glimpse when you travel with them. You see how they kind of are. And it's important to see how somebody lives, because it's just like, okay, if we're going to be in a relationship, you know, eventually we're going to live together. So it's like, if I can't tolerate you for these 5 days on vacation, I'm not going to be able to tolerate you for the rest of my life living together. You know what I mean? Because you have to know, like, you could be in a relationship with somebody, but like, let's say like, you know, obviously certain things you don't know. Like, let's say they leave trash all over their room. But you wouldn't know that by going on dates with them. So it's like, okay, if you're a neat freak and they're leaving trash all over their room, that's not going to be somebody you want to live with unless you want to clean up after somebody. But most people don't. So it's like, I do not suggest moving in with your partner unless you kind of like do like a trial where you guys go away together, or you guys like, I wouldn't even like, spending the night is not enough. Because you spend the night and then like you go home the next day. Like, you need to really stay with them and see how they live. Like, unless you're spending the night for like a week and you guys are just together that entire week, then okay. But otherwise, you need to like take a vacation with them, travel with them first before you think about moving in with them. Don't rush into moving in with them. Do not make them your entire world. I say this because a lot of people get in relationships and they cut all their friends off and they just focus on the relationship, focus on their partner. So my thing is with that, it's like, okay, when you guys break up, then you're not going to have anybody, or you're going to run back to those friends and they will most likely feel away. Like, you need to have a balance when you're in a relationship. So if your partner only wants you to hang out with him and not anybody else, that's weird to me. And it's just like, why not? And then if you just want your partner...
I'm not sure I understand.
What the hell, Siri? If you just want your partner to be with you all the time, it's like also weird. Like, you guys need to have a break. You guys need to have space. So it's like, you need to have a balance. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't make them your entire world. Yes, you may love them, care about them, but you need to have an outside life. That's what I tell everybody who is like living with their partner or they're always with their boyfriend. Go out, see your friends, like do other stuff. Because I was that girl before, you know, I wasn't seeing my friends. And then I was that girl who was in a relationship and I'm going out with my friends and then going back to them after. So it's like, okay, it's a balance. Don't be that girl that just cuts their friends off, or that guy that cuts their friends off and they just don't see their friends because they're always with their partner. Then social media plays a huge aspect into relationship nowadays, unless you guys don't have social media, but most people do have social media. So what I feel like I learned is that it's best when, you know, you guys are like very limited with the social media. Like, you know how they say like, you know, it's not a secret, but it's like not like completely public. So that's always good. Like, you know, if you guys are like posting each other, it's like obviously people know you're together, and then you like post something that's like single, then people are going to be in your business like, oh, they broke up. So it's just like you have to figure out where you guys are going to be with the social media thing. Like, I feel like my first relationship, we were very social media, posting each other, and then when we'd be beefing, we'd be subbing each other. And then obviously people who followed us both know, okay, they're beefing. But then like my relationship after that, it was like, okay, he didn't post on Instagram. Like, his Instagram story was pictures of the ocean. Like, so it's like, And we didn't really have mutuals. So it's like, okay, if we were beefing, nobody would really know. Because first of all, like, people knew I was in a relationship, but didn't know with who. So it's just like, you have to have like, you have to have kind of like some sort of privacy so people are not all in your business. And because you just don't want people in your business. Me personally, like going forward now, like I'll kind of people that I'm entangled with, like I'll mute them so I don't see their story, like, and sometimes I'll unfollow them because it's just like, okay, I don't want to see your story, like, because then I might think you're talking about me, like, I don't know. So it's like, be careful with the social media, like posting too much, subbing each other. I think it's best if you kind of like, especially if you have mutuals, like don't really post each other, like unless you really want to be public, but then don't sub each other when you guys are beefing. It's complicated. Social media makes everything complicated because then people will be like, oh, they haven't posted each other in a while. What's going on? Are they beefing? Or did they break up? You know, so it's like, the social media is complicated. Then, like I said, not ignoring their red flags. So when you see red flags, you need to really like weigh them. Like, okay, are they like huge red flags? Are they little red flags? But sometimes little red flags always turn into huge red flags. So to me, it's like the red flags you really have to consider, like, okay, if this red flag keeps on waving, like, am I going to be okay with it? And if you know that you're not going to be okay with it, then what's the point of continuing? So it's just like, you really have to think about that before. So I think in the beginning of all relationships, you need to assess their mental health. Mental health definitely matters. And I'm saying this because, you know, that plays a key role into people's relationship. Obviously, nobody's mental health is going to be perfect, but you need to see how they deal with certain situations, how they handle their emotions. Because let's say there's somebody who they get mad and they like lash out, like, you know, violent, throwing things, hitting people, whatever. That's something you need to consider before getting into a relationship with them. And then, like, you know, you just need to kind of watch out for these things, because if people aren't working on themselves, like working on their mental health, these things kind of keep like going on. So this will go on throughout your relationship. And it's not just going to go away. So definitely consider mental health. And I personally think that, like, you know, a lot of people who dealt with some sort of kind of trauma, you know, there are people who, they have to work on themselves a little bit harder than like people who never been through anything. I'm not trying to say that, you know, people who never been through anything don't have any problems, because they do. Everybody has problems, but I'm just saying, like, people who have like trauma and certain things, they need to like work on that, heal from that. And obviously healing is an everyday process. It doesn't happen overnight. To me, I feel like every day, like, you heal in a certain way, like part of you heals, but you're never going to be fully healed from this thing unless you miraculously like lose your memory and forget about it. But let's be realistic here. So I definitely think like you guys have to have a talk about mental health. And then also I think you need to assess their family dynamic. Family says a lot about people. So if you know that they're kind of like the instigator with their family problems, you kind of have to watch out for that. Because I get everybody doesn't have a great relationship with their family. But if it's like their mama is causing the problems, and that's on the mama. But if it's like your partner is causing the problem with all these family members, then it's like, okay, you kind of have to assess what kind of person they are to like have all these problems with their family. So, and to me, like, family dynamic is important. Like, gosh, who's gonna watch the baby if you don't like your mama, your auntie, your cousin, like, you know? So it's just like, that's something I would consider. Obviously, some people don't talk to their families at all, and I get that. But it's like, I would investigate what exactly happened for them not to talk to their family at all, or whoever they're not talking to see if it's like a valid reason, or if it's just kind of like it's on them, if that makes sense. I definitely say you need to consider like family history in the sense, like, realistically speaking, especially when you're like 20 and up, but I mean, hey, people are younger than 20 and having children, but you need to think about like when you're in a relationship, if you have a child with this person, you need to think about like the long run. Like, okay, you guys need to know like the family history of like health history and stuff like that, because you know, unfortunately, like let's say if you both have the sickle cell trait, then it's just like, okay, maybe you guys should not be having a child together. It's like stuff like that. But unfortunately, people don't get to know people well enough. So it's like you don't know that stuff sometimes until it's too late. So that's something I would consider, is like definitely learning the family history of your partner, just to see like your risk and like percentages of certain things happening, because obviously like if something runs in both sides of the family, then it's like it's a higher chance for your kid to get whatever is running through both sides of the family. So it's like, I don't know, I just would like definitely consider that. I feel like a lot of people don't consider that. So yeah, that's just my advice to you all. Definitely the last thing that's like was me as like so much was like staying during like the abuse, and I'm talking about whether it's physical, like verbal, whatever the case may be. You should not do that, because at the end of the day, whether they cheat on you, like they curse you out, they hit you, whatever the case may be, like they might have love for you, but they're not in love with you, because you're not going to do that to somebody that you're in love with. And you have to know the difference between like, I'm in love with you and I have love for you. Because think of it like in a friendship wise. Like, when you love your friends, like, I love you, it's just like, okay, like, I love you. But then when you, let's say you stop being friends with this person, you're like, I have love for you. But, like, you don't really, like, yeah, you love them, but it's just kind of like you have that love for them. So it's like, to me, it's like, it's better to look at it at the friendship perspective than the relationship perspective, because you'll see the difference. And when you know the difference between the two, you will know like what you should and should not be tolerating, and what transpires when you're in love with somebody or when you just have love for them. Because it's usually when you're in love with them, you won't do anything to hurt them. Like, but if it's like when you have love for them, it's kind of just like, yeah, but it's like, I got love for you, but I don't really care about you that much. Like, I don't care about you enough to not hurt you, if that makes sense. So I truly believe that people who like cheat, abuse, whatever, they have love. They might not, but they might have love for their partner, but they're not in love with them, because they're able to hurt their partner in whatever sort of way. Even if the partner doesn't find out, like if you're cheating and they don't find out, you're still hurting them. Like, if they do find out, it's going to hurt them. So to me, it's like you don't love that person enough if you're cheating on them with the potential. It's like a 50-50 chance. You might get away with it, you might get caught. And then it's like with the abuse and stuff like that, you know, that's direct. So it's like 100% you're hurting them directly. And it's just like, I don't know. Like I said, know the difference between they're in love with you and they just have love for you. And definitely don't tolerate. Once you guys, I'm sorry, but once you guys kind of break that relationship, like whether it's like cheating, abuse, it kind of usually continues. It's usually not a one and done type thing. Let's say one partner cheats, then the other one might be like, damn, maybe I should cheat. Like, you know, Keisha Cole, I should have cheated. So they might be like, oh, let me get my gift back. Like, she did it, I'm about to do it too. So then it's like, okay, then they get, or if like you catch your partner cheating, then you're gonna always have that mindset, okay, what if they're out here doing it again? I'm calling, they're not answering. What if they're doing it again? So it creates all these problems. And it's just like, you can't really trust this person anymore. So it's just like, to me, it's like once that starts occurring, like once you don't trust the person, it's really like there's not much in the relationship. Like, there might be that in love and have love for you, but that's definitely not enough. Like, I always tell people that. Like, I could say honestly, when I left both of my relationships, there was love for each other, but the love is not enough to stay through certain things. That's my personal opinion. Like, you can love somebody, but you can be like, I love myself enough to it's time to walk away. Like, love is not always enough. That's what I tell people all the time. Like, yes, oh my God, I love them. I have love for them, but this is not working. Like, this is not gonna work. So those are some things that you guys should avoid when you're in a relationship. You know, some of you may agree with me or disagree with me. That's perfectly fine. I'm not a relationship expert and I don't want to be. But that's just my personal experience. So I hope you guys take this advice and use it how you want to use it. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys like it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And let me know some other things you want me to talk about. I did like a poll on Instagram. I was like, should I do this one? Or was like 10 signs he's just not into you. Because, you know, I feel like, you know, guys are so like... Guys can be hard to read. So can girls be hard to read too. But I don't really know much about reading girls because that's not what I go for. So it's like I could tell you guys some 10 signs that a guy's not into you. Girls, I don't know. We're a little bit harder. And I don't want to give the secrets out to the guys. So, yeah, let me know what you guys want to see next.